Hello, this is the functional exam for Tinetti Performance Oriented Mobility Assessment, and our group was made out of Callie Anderson, Austin Clark, Deidre Jarman, Tyler Lowenstein, and Adam Short.
What is this? It was published by Mary E. Tinetti. It is a task-oriented test that measures an older adult's gait and balance abilities by an ordinal scale of 0 to 2. Besides giving information on maneuverability, it is also a very good indicator of the fall risk of the tested person. Testing the fall risk works with a checklist. The assessment takes 10 to 15 minutes to complete. The population the test is intended for includes those with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, the elderly, normal pressure hydrocephalus, Parkinson's disease, and stroke. The domain of the test, or what does it measure and test, is motor, balance, and gait. It is a performance measure only, meaning it is generally defined as regular measurement of outcomes and results, which generates reliable data on the effectiveness and efficiency of what it is testing.
We found two studies looking at the validity and reliability for the Tinetti test. One looked specifically at the elderly population and the other Parkinson's. With the elderly, 15 long-term self-care and nursing care facilities with 120 to 500 residents were looked at by two physical therapists, both with 4 years experience, and two graduate students who received training in how to score the Tinetti test. To find the concurrent validity for the elderly, the Tinetti test was measured against 5 other tests, coming out with a correlation greater than 0.6, with the exception of the LAPAQ test. This makes the Tinetti a valid test for assessing the elderly patients for falls. The reliability with the elderly was measured by the test-retest and inter-rater methods. The test-retest coefficient was less than 0.9, showing the test may not be reliable. However, the inter-rater measured on 2 separate days came out above 0.9, showing it can be reliable. Of the 15 long-term self-care and nursing care facilities, the optimal cutoff score was found to be 19, which gave us a sensitivity of 64% and the specificity of 66.1%. So if you fell below the cutoff score of 19, you had a 64% chance of falling, and if you were above the cutoff score, then you had a 66.1% chance of not falling.
This study examines the Tinetti Mobility Test as a fall risk screening tool in individuals with Parkinson's disease. The Tinetti Mobility Test had a significant and fair negative correlation with United Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale at R equals negative 0.45. The Tinetti Mobility Test had a moderate to good correlation with a comfortable gait speed at R equals 0.53. The inter-rater reliability included raters that included 2 experienced physical therapists and 3 second-year physical therapy students. The ICCs for the total Tinetti Mobility Test scores were between all raters were good to excellent. The inter-rater reliability included 2 community physical therapists and 4 second-year physical therapy students. The ICCs of the total Tinetti Mobility Test scores were moderate to high. Out of 156 subjects that participated in the study, 22% reported falling 1 or more times in the past week, and 46% reported falling in the past 6 months. The best possible area under the curve occurred at a score of 20, making this the cutoff score. Sensitivity is the ability of the Tinetti Mobility Test to achieve a positive test score when the individual is actually a faller. The sensitivity of this test is 76%. This translates into 76% of the individuals that scored below the cutoff score of 20 had a history of falling and is considered a faller. Specificity is the ability of the Tinetti Mobility Test to achieve a negative test score when the individual is actually a non-faller. The specificity of this test is 66%. This translates into 66% of the individuals that scored above the cutoff score of 20 did not have a history of falls and is not considered a faller. In conclusion, this study shows that the Tinetti Mobility Test is a reliable and valid test for assessing the balance and gait patterns and fall risk for individuals in the beginning to middle stages of Parkinson's disease.
Hi, my name is Tyler Lowenstein. I'm a student physical therapist, and today we're going to do a Tinetti assessment test to assess the patient's balance and gait. Hi, my name is Tyler. Hi, Tyler. Is it okay if I do a little balance test with you? Yeah, sure can. Alrighty.
In the first part of the test, We are looking to see if the patient can sit on a hard, armless chair without leaning or sliding.
So the first thing that you do is just sit down, try to stay steady. Okay. Very good.
Since the patient was able to sit up safely and steady without assistance, we would score him a 1. The next part of the balance section is looking at how the patient gets up out of the chair and their immediate standing balance within the first 5 seconds of rising. We are checking to see if the patient can get up without using his hands, how many attempts it takes him to get up, and if he can steady himself without support once he is standing.
Okay, the second thing I'm going to have you do is try to get up from the chair and stand. I'm going to have you try to do it without your arms. Okay? Very good.
The patient was able to get up on the first try without using his arms, so we scored him a 2 for arises and a 2 for attempts to rise. He was able to stand steady without support, so we scored him a 2 for immediate standing balance. For the next portion of the balance section, we will assess his standing balance and his reaction to a nudge to his chest, numbers 5 and 6.
Alright, I'm just going to have you stand there. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to push you in your chest. You're just going to try to stand there and hold your ground. Okay? Good.
The patient was steady with a narrow stance while standing, and remained fairly steady when I nudged him in the chest, so for numbers 5 and 6, he scored a 2. For number 7, I had the patient stand with his feet close together and close his eyes.
Okay, now I'm going to have you stand with your feet together, with your eyes closed. Try to stay balanced. Okay. Good job.
The patient remained steady with his eyes closed, so I scored him a 1 for number 7. For number 8, I will have the patient do a complete 360 in a standing position.
Now I'm going to have you turn around in a circle. Just like that. Good job.
The patient completed a 360 with continuous steps without the need to grab for assistance. For number 8, I scored him a 1. For the last portion of the balance section, I will have the patient sit back down in a chair.
Now I'm going to have you sit down in your chair. Alright. Good job.
The patient was able to sit back down in the chair in a safe and smooth motion, so I scored him a 2 for number 9. Austin, being a young and healthy patient, scored a perfect score of 16 out of 16 on the balance section of the Tinetti assessment test. For the gait section of the Tinetti, I had the patient walk a set distance at a normal pace.
Alright, Austin, now we're going to do the gait portion, which is just walking. I'm just going to have you start there, and I'm going to have you walk to the end of this stage. Start your walk on my go. You're just going to walk at normal pace, like you would every day. Okay?
For the first part of the gait section, I am going to assess his initiation of gait by looking to see if he hesitates after I say go. I am then going to watch for his step length and height. On the way down, I am going to look at his right foot to make sure it passes the left in its swing phase, and to make sure it clears the floor. On the way back, I am going to do the same for the left foot since I am on that side of his body.
Ready? Go. Okay. Go back. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Good job. Alright.
For number 10, his initiation of gait, the patient scored a 1 because he did not hesitate. For number 11, the patient was scored a 1 for the swing phase and foot clearance in both his right and left foot. For the next down and back, I looked to see if the patient's steps were symmetrical in length and if his steps were continuous.
Alright, I'm going to have you do that one more time. Same way. Okay. Thank you. Again.
The patient's steps were both symmetrical and continuous, so the patient scored a 1 for both numbers 12 and 13. For the next part of the gait section, I had Austin do the same down and back gait as before. This time, I looked to see if he walked in a straight line along the carpet and watched his trunk to see if he swayed from side to side. For optimal accuracy, you would have the patient walking on tiles 12-inch in diameter if available, but you may not always have this luxury. I'm also going to look at his heels to make sure they are not spread too far apart during his walking stance.
Alright, very good. Alright, now I'm going to have you try to walk in a straight line, follow this line on the carpet, and walk straight to me. Same way. Okay. Go ahead and do the same exact thing, following the line. Good. Good job. Alright, thanks, Austin.
The patient walked with his heels in close, almost touching, in a straight line, without swaying his body from side to side. For numbers 14, 15, and 16, the patient scored a 2, 2, and 1 respectively. Again, since Austin is a young, healthy patient, he scored a perfect score of 12 out of 12 on the gait section of the Tinetti assessment test. We feel that the Tinetti Performance-Oriented Mobility Assessment is not the best option to use in the clinic. Although it is easy and quick to administer, the specificity and sensitivity were both low around the 60% range. We feel that the Berg balance test would be a better option to predict fall risk due to its detailed grading scale and higher sensitivity percentage. However, the sensitivity in the Parkinson's patient study was found to be fairly good at being just over 75%. This concludes our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.